I'm honored to be here in this very distinguished panel. I'm feeling quite inadequate now. I just got to tell you that up front. Usually my staff, before I give a speech, they give me a little note and say, fire this crowd up. Well, Ariel Boone did that, so let's just check that box off. That was a tremendous conversation we just had. And you're not running for Attorney General, because if you are, I'm just going to drop out now. I'm just going to tell you that. I just wanted to just say that was tremendous, and I think we need more of that from young people, to be honest with you, because we are in some difficult times. We are in some very, very difficult times because our state has changed so much, even in my lifetime. As was mentioned in the bio there in the introduction, I was the first person in my family to go to college. My parents came here in search of a better life for themselves, but more importantly for their kids. When I grew up, I was in 9th or 10th grade, and one night, 3 in the morning, loud knock at the door, police officers. They wanted to know if any of us had heard anything or seen anything. Our neighbor across the street had been shot and killed. A few months later, news crews besieged our neighborhood. Before that, I'd never seen a camera in person, TV camera. There was 10 or 15 of them in our neighborhood, and apparently there had been a methamphetamine lab just around the corner from our house, and the smell had attracted authorities. We had gotten used to the smell because we had smelt it for about 6 months, and the chemicals from the meth lab were pouring into the sewers, becoming a health hazard, so the news crews came by to cover that. In that environment, my parents said to us, me and my 3 younger brothers, that college was not an option. It was going to be a fact. And in those days, it was a fact. We had a promise. California had a compact, if you will, with young families. And it said if your kids stayed in school, stayed out of trouble, took the SAT test, that we would guarantee those kids a spot, not just in our community colleges, not just in our CSU system, but in the UC system. There was a guaranteed of admission for our students. As you heard in the bio, I went to a private school because we had guaranteed financial aid. I didn't pick Santa Clara University because I had a campus tour or because I liked it more. I picked it because I compared the financial aid packages to the schools I'd been accepted to, and that's the school that gave me the most aid, including a Cal grant. So when the governor proposes to eliminate Cal grants, all due respect to the professor that painted all of us with a very broad brush, some of us say no. Some of us, like me, get up on the floor of the assembly and say to the governor, Governor, your proposal is dumb. You go on YouTube, you check it out. I said that. I said, Governor, your proposal is dumb, and in fact, it's petulant and it's childish because the cuts you're making, number one, impact the future, but number two, they cost us money. So some of us are actually taking on the governor because he needs to be taken on in this environment. And I share with you my family's experience because it's so different than what families are going through today. The state is so different. I don't think anyone here believes that it's fair for our federal government and for the state government in part to bail out banks, bail out insurance companies, bail out car companies, and do nothing for hardworking middle class and poor families in California. I don't believe that anyone here believes that it's fair that tuition and fee, you know what, first of all, it is tuition. I mean, I know some people like to call them fees, but it's tuition. The tuition and fees go up 8 out of the last 10 years, and the anomaly this year of having not 1 but 2 fee increases, up to 35%. No one here thinks that's fair. No one here thinks it's fair that we continue to invest in a prison system that is completely broken, with a 70% failure rate. 7 out of 10 people who leave our state prison go back within 4 years. Yet we have a success rate of 100% when we invest money in higher education. But for the first time in our state's history, next year we're going to spend more money on prisons than higher education. That day is here. It's all you need to know about our priorities. It's all you need to know about the rhetoric. It's all you need to know about what's wrong with California. Oil companies make record profits. $45.2 billion in 2008 for ExxonMobil. The previous year, they didn't have such a good year. They made $40.6 billion. Shell made $31.3 billion in profits, BP $20.8 billion, Chevron $18.7 billion. In this context, in California, the only major oil-producing state, we have seen fit to not charge them for the privilege of extracting oil. We give it to them for free. At the same time that we're giving away the oil, probably one of our more precious commodities, the governor's going around the state with garage sales, selling desks and old cars, and he's trying to raise money for the state. In this context, I say to you, help is on the way. Because enough is enough. In Alaska, I imagine how Sarah Palin reached this conclusion. She looked out her window one day, trying to find the Russians. She couldn't see them. Probably a bunch of oil wells in the way. And she decided in Alaska, why are we giving oil companies our oil? We're giving it away. Let's sell it to them. 25% fee in Alaska. George Bush's Texas, by no stretch a liberal state. George Bush's Texas charges an extraction fee. They sell oil in Texas. They raise $400 million for higher education year after year after year. So, let's do it in California. AB 656.